Good day, everyone, and welcome to Internship Provider's this webinar for this month. Today, we will discuss some of the characteristics of our service, what exactly we offer, the characteristics of each destination, and in the end, we will finish by answering some of the most frequently asked questions for our service. Let's begin. First of all, we specialize in arranging internships in several locations all over the world. But apart from this, we also provide guidance with other services, which we will get on later. But for now, let's mention that they are accommodation, cheap flight tickets, language courses. If, for example, the level of English is not as required for a certain person, we may prepare him before the internship is begun and even during it. Insurances both for health purposes and for liability insurances. Travel assistance on location, which means that basically our colleagues who are on location in each location will provide assistance in any way they can. Let's continue. Now we will begin discussing each destination. So for example, Australia, as you can see, it says that the duration is 3 to 6 months. This is actually common for many of the locations which we offer a service to, but we will explain everything step by step. To begin, Australia provides a very relaxed environment with professionals, and a good time is always guaranteed to be had. It's very interesting in terms of the internship fields in which it provides its service, because the market possibilities are endless there. It also provides very beautiful nature and exploration opportunities, breathtaking landscapes, and great cultural experiences to undertake while not on the internship or when relaxing during the weekends even. It is also a great place to find an internship in mechanical engineering, for example. The next step in our destinations is New Zealand. The labor market in New Zealand is very broad and can be compared with that of any country from Europe. Several organizations involved in research and nature conversations can be found here, conservation, which means that there are many opportunities for internships related to sustainability, animal care, or even social activities in general. These activities provide a unique opportunity to gain experience in the field and provide excellent internships. It is a very modern country, which is the perfect place for accommodation for any young and enthusiastic student willing to partake in something a little more different. The next destination which we offer our service to is Canada, and it provides a very stable economy where lots of opportunities are available. Vancouver in particular has much to offer both in terms of modern culture but also in terms of variety for work possibilities. It is also a great destination for internship related to international law. Next we move up to China, which is, as said, provides a duration of 3 to 6 months. And as you can see on each destination, it also mentions that there are several options, as for example internships for undergraduate students, also internships related to graduate assignments, or even graduated students who are just wanting to get more work experience before they undertake their professional career, and assistance with language courses. The next destination, which we will talk about, for China specifically, the economy is the world's fastest growing currently, and it provides internships in various fields. It is very unique as something to put on your CV or resume, because not many people get the opportunity to actually partake in an internship in such an interesting country, and especially good for business, IT, and management. It also provides century-old traditions, thousands of years of interesting history, and many things to be learned. We will proceed now with Malta, which, as you may notice, has a more different duration. Here we have a minimum of 6 weeks, which makes Malta actually a place where internships which are shorter are possible, and it's perfect for summer opportunities for students. The excellent level of English also contributes to this place, so people from all over the world can still have an interesting experience, while also enjoying the particular culture of the place. Speaking of the culture, there's a great atmosphere, not only for young students, but also for anyone who is willing to establish a network with other students from various study fields. So it is a great place to meet up with people and might even provide a chance to start your career early. It is perfect for hospitality management, tourism, and anything related to hotels in general. The next destination is Ireland, which has had a very big boost in its economy recently, and for this reason, many multinationals have based their European headquarters in Dublin due to the attractive economic climate. This has contributed to creating more and more internship opportunities in various study fields, and we believe that it is perfect for social work or commercial management. We move on to England, which is described as one of the beating hearts of the European economy, and London especially being the financial center of Europe. It is difficult to name a multinational company which does not have an office in England, making it the perfect place for anyone willing to explore business opportunities. And speaking of business, those are the types of internships that are most popular there. Finally, our final destination is the US, which provides an internship with a little bit longer duration. And it also covers many, many possibilities. It's called the land of opportunities, after all, the land of the free and home of the brave. And it is a place where some of the world's largest companies have roots. So it offers a wide variety of internship possibilities, but particularly in marketing, those would be the best ones. Now we move on to the reasons why you should go on an internship abroad. We believe that it is very important as taking a next step out of your comfort zone and to develop your personal and professional skills, because once you've experienced working abroad, you are basically able to adapt to any environment back home or abroad in another country. It is also a great way to get to know a new culture and lifestyle and to learn more about other people from all over the world, how they behave, what their life is like, and maybe even find yourself somewhere. It is also a great way to expand your CV with an unforgettable experience, and it looks good always when you introduce your details to a company hiring manager who will notice that you have international experience. Normally, international experience and internships at good companies are basically what hiring managers are looking for. Why choose Internship Provider? Well, first of all, we take advantage of custom-made internships arranged according to the individual needs and requirements. What does this mean? Well, if you're a student who has very particular requirements both from his educational perspective, from his institution, or his own personal needs, we take them into account. This means that we always consider the possibility that the student might need a company of a particular size, maybe the possibility that there might exist a main assignment which they have to do, and any things of that nature. We are always prepared to help because we're very familiar with this type of school mentality ourselves. If you choose Internship Provider, you also benefit from a wide range of internship opportunities, diverse fields of interest and study. Again, because we work with colleagues on location in every country that was mentioned up until this point, that means that we not only have opportunities to arrange something related to your personal requirements, but also are very familiar with all the current developments in each country, which means that if there was an ever new internship opportunity made available, we would know about it, and we would do our best job to match your personal needs in the perfect way. Finally, we provide helpful advice on costs, visa applications, insurance, and other internship considerations, which is just one of the many steps which are needed when you go on an experience abroad. So we make sure that you're covered in all those regards. This is also good for your educational institution, because if you this gives you a chance not only from your student to benefit from the network which they will be connected to when they eventually do acquire a position somewhere in a particular company, but also it would give the universities an opportunity to connect with more companies and possibly establish future relations with them, which would benefit greatly for them. We have normally a success rate of 94%, which we are very proud in, and there is an equal overhaul of enrollments as said, wherefore the school requirements can be achieved. This means that as long as the school requirements are possible for a particular country of the student's choice, that we arrange the internships without a problem in most cases. Now we will move on to the FAQ, or frequently asked questions. This is a section which we think is very important, since many people constantly ask this, and it is a nice way to introduce our service to them as well as every particular characteristic of it. So we will start with question 1. What does it cost to arrange an internship through Internship Provider? Well, this depends on the destination, as our packages start at 695 euros and go up to 895, depending on the location, of course. And for more information on each type of currency and the way to pay, and payment details for every single destination, as well as its package price and other details, what is included in them, please visit the website. But we will move on to the other one. From who can we organize internships? We can arrange internships for graduate students, but also undergraduate ones, and basically anyone who is willing to do some kind of experience abroad. This means that as long as you're qualified to a decent degree, we can arrange something, even if you're not currently in any kinds of educational institution or pursuing education. This means that we can also arrange opportunities for several people to go at once. So if you have any kind of particular requirements of going together with friends or your girlfriend or boyfriend, we can still manage that. Or even sometimes within the same company, which is always nice. The next question is, when should I register for an internship and how long does it take for the traineeship to be organized? Normally, the sooner you register, the better. It also has to do with visa requirements, because sometimes, depending on the country, the deadline which you have set might not be long enough, or might be just a bit short, a bit too short. So for this reason, we recommend that you always go into the process taking into account that several months might need to be taken in order for this to be successful. And again, I said, it depends on the location, because, for example, for Malta, the internship can be arranged within 6 weeks, depending on the specialization itself. But for others, it can take several months, and especially if your study field is not that common in that country, it can take at least from 3 to 5 months. So we would recommend always to approach us 3 to 5 months in advance. That will be the best way. To arrange there is also to arrange internships, there is also a minimum period required. So we would need at least 1 month, regardless of the location. So you should always also keep that in mind, and that is also related to the deadline itself. Another question is, what needs to be submitted in order for Internship Provider to actually start the process? Well, in terms of documents, we would need a CV in English, as well as a motivational letter, which would be tailored to your specific position. Obviously, because we do not expect you to know exactly which company you will be placed in, we have taken that into account, and we only ask for the internship motivational letter to be tailor-made in such a way that it addresses a hypothetical hiring manager, such as to whom it may concern, or dear sir or madam, and proceed to explain what you hope to gain from the internship, but of course what you hope to contribute to the company, which is a very important reason for them to hire you in the first place. Apart from this, as mentioned, we take into account your school requirements, and it is especially important to submit them with your internship documents, because we would need to have your school's actual approval if it's part of your mandatory program to pursue this internship. And of course, other documents are always helpful, such as grades list, although not mandatory, a recent representative photo, as well as a deadline for school, which ties to the school requirements. If it needs to be within a certain date, we need to know about this. A next question that we get is, can you guarantee me an internship when I register for IP? As mentioned, we are very proud of our 94% success rate, but unfortunately we cannot guarantee and give a 100% guarantee. The reason for this is depending on a number of factors. One of them is that there may be some kind of unforeseen personal circumstances relating to the student, or maybe the internship has been arranged already and everything has been taken care of, but the reason why they couldn't apply is because of visa-related issues. For example, maybe they applied too late, maybe they applied on time but could not acquire it, or maybe for some reason it was not approved by the educational institution of the student on time if they were not informed properly. But in general, we tend to be very proud of our success rate, and we normally don't encounter any kinds of internship problems when arranging them, of course. How long can I intern for at a minimum or maximum? Well, as mentioned, there were several of them. Normally, for the standard duration for each country, or most of the countries, I should say, is 3 to 6 months. Of course, for Malta, that's an exception because there you can intern for 2 months, or even less. Making it perfect for the summer vacation, as mentioned. And the US and other countries which require more visa specific matters may normally take long. For example, Australia has a law that even though the working holiday visa which you acquire is meant uh, for 1 year, there is a law that you cannot work at a company for more than 6 months. So, in order to take full utilization of the visa, which lasts 1 year, one option might be to arrange two internships, one after the other, each for 6 months, because the law, as mentioned, does not allow more than that. Within Europe, you can intern, of course, for 1 year. So this means that all those general guidelines which I presented to you earlier are the norm. However, this doesn't mean that for each of the European countries I mentioned, it's possible for only 3 to 6 months. If it requires more, it is possible to arrange it as well. Those previous ones were just the most common ones. And as mentioned, yeah, some of the visa-related issues might cause the internship duration to be of a specific length. The next question, which comes often, is can I come into contact with other students before the internship starts? This is possible. You can arrange for something such as this to be done through our Facebook page, and you can already come into contact with people we're organizing internships or have already returned from their internships, and as well as we have an experience section on our website which provides more information and interesting stories of unique experiences all over the world. The next question we get is, will I get compensated for my internship? Normally abroad it is not customary to receive compensation during your internship. Generally you will not receive a fee, but an internship is really seen as a good opportunity to gain practical experience in the field, and we believe that with our great network of recognized companies, it will be experience which is worth it for your CV and personal and professional development. The next question is, can I work alongside my internship? Normally you can, even if you would want us to make a request for the company when searching for it. It is possible to do a part-time internship for 4 days a week, and for this, of course, we would need to get the school approval because it's a more particular request. The next question is, what if there is not a work placement that could be found for me? What happens in this case is that if we cannot meet your requirements, either in terms of your school requirements or in terms of the deadline which you have set, you will just simply get your deposit back. The only loss is the 25 euros administration cost, which comes in the initial deposit, but that will be explained more in a later question. The next question is, how good should my English be? Well, normally for destinations such as Ireland, England, and China, minimum requirements are imposed on your English skills. And for other destinations, a basic knowledge of English would certainly be desirable. If you're not quite sure about your English or want to boost your business English, we also offer, you can also book a pre-internship language course via us, which we offer, as mentioned before. The next question is, how do I make the deposit? The deposit is the first part of the internship package fee, which is split into two. The deposit itself is 200 euros, while the administration cost, which I already mentioned, are 25. And the principal works as I explained earlier. If it cannot be found, the 200 are returned. The next question, what additional costs are there in addition to the internship package? You still need to consider, of course, the need for accommodation, insurance, flight tickets, and also take into account the everyday costs of food and sustenance, as well as any other things that you might incur. But speaking of some of them, we do provide assistance in terms of accommodation. For example, we can contact our colleagues on location, and they can actually look for accommodation which fits the best way to what you have described on our accommodation form found on our website as well. And we present you with several options. Normally, depending on the destinations, you could arrange an individual apartment or a student housing, a shared housing, or even living with the host family if that is an option for the destination, of course. Where can I buy a cheap flight ticket is the next question. You can do it yourself normally, but we will also be able to help you with that if so you wish. The next question is very important. What kind of insurances should I take out? This section covers two major type of insurances. The first one is a medical one, which we actually can provide you assistance with. We work with a organization called Covered Abroad, and through them there are two options for medical insurances. One has a bigger coverage and costs more per day, and the other important insurance type is the liability one, which is also very important to have your all of your items and possessions insured in case something happens. And it is very important to mention that these insurances need to be taken for the entire internship period. So from the day you arrive on the destination until the day you leave, regardless if the internship is already ended, but you're still in the country itself. So this is very important to note down. The next question is, do I need a visa? Well, this would largely depend on where you're going and where you come from yourself. If you're a European citizen, for Ireland, England, and Malta, you do not need a visa. For the rest of the locations, you do need a visa, and there are several types. But we can provide you with more information depending on where you would like to go. However, even if you do not need a visa, if you're from Europe and going to a European country, it is still very important to keep copies of your ID and passports. And in general, you can provide all your documents or copies of your important documents together with a folder for when you go on the internship itself. The next question is, are there more students present on location? Well, as mentioned, you can come into contact with some of them via Facebook, but also in general, yes, because when we do the internships, we tend to group students in terms of living accommodation together. So that would guarantee that you would not only have a great professional experience, but also a nice social experience, getting to meet people from all over the world. The next question is, are there organized activities on location? Well, we ourselves, an internship provider, do not organize such activities. However, our colleagues at each respectable location can give you tips, seeing how they're very familiar with the local culture and know about any kind of festivities or activities that might be present at that particular point. Next question, what should I do if I get homesick? This is a very interesting reaction and is quite normal to experience. Normally, people who go to new environments and are all by themselves suddenly and bearing all these responsibilities are expected to go through a thing called culture shock, which some of you may be familiar with. But in terms, we would recommend to try to socialize as much as possible, maybe meet people from your own country who might be there as well on their internships or in general, and to try to do as many things as possible while also having fun, of course. And you will find that the homesickness tends to get away quickly in that way. The next question, what do I do in an emergency? Well, you can always contact our colleagues on location. If it's something very important, this is the action which we would recommend because they are near you, so they can respond the fastest, but also in the most effective way possible. Otherwise, we are also available during normal office hours in terms of Central European time. A popular question which we get is, can I go on an internship if I'm younger than 18? The answer is yes, you can. However, you will need the approval of your parents in a special document, so that is something to consider. And also, the last question is, where do I do my internship if I'm younger than 18? We would recommend countries where a visa is not required because it makes the process itself is more realistic, that it will be arranged as smoothly as possible. And in terms of Malta, we recommend it because there tend to be a lot of internship possibilities for younger people who may not still have obtained that much experience or even knowledge from university, but can still contribute in some way to developing a company. And this has been in terms of the frequently asked questions. Uh, I hope you have enjoyed this webinar and that it has proven to be helpful. As you can see here on the screen, these are the contact details. So if you have any kinds of questions and that you would not have now, but later on, you can always contact us either at info@internshipprovider.com or simply add us on Skype and we will respond as fast as possible. And in general, we look forward to arranging your internship abroad and we look forward to hearing from you as well. Thank you for your time. And are there any questions?